Welcome back, my friends, for another fun reloading video. Today I just got a new piece of literature, and we're going to be doing a first look at the Hornady Handbook of Cartridge Reloading 11th edition. You might have been getting emails and all that fun stuff saying, hey, you can pre-order your manual, but I waited anyways, and now Mid-South Shooter Supply has them on sale, so it came all nice and shrink-wrapped and preserved and beautiful. But you can bet, as soon as I got back into my car, I ripped that sucker open, and what do we have on page 1? A free one-year subscription for their app. How neat is that? Wow, right? Isn't that neat? So here it says a free one-year subscription for the Hornady Reloading Guide mobile app. Thank you for purchasing the 11th edition of the Hornady Reloading Manual. Enjoy one free year subscription. Now take your reloading data to go. So we'll just kind of thumb through this bad boy. I've already looked at a few things. Here's their little prologue and introduction. They say we introduce some new bullets. We have new data for older bullets. We have new powders, all kinds of fun stuff. So stay tuned and turn the page. Here's the table of contents, the caliber lists they have, some really sweet visuals here. And then they've got their background and history, the heritage and vision. Yep, and we already know how this story ends because it's the exact same thing as in the 10th edition. But, that's not surprising. They just merely update these editions. They're not trying to rewrite the entire 1,000 pages they have here. Here's, the first third of the book people tell you to read if you're getting into reloading and you're new. There's, where are we at? Page 10 up to page 99. Oh, let's keep going. There it is, all the way up to rifle data. There's a good 110 pages here about terminology, how it actually works, what's going on in your gun. And then we go right into Reloading 101. Why do it? What's the case? What are powders? What the hell are primers? And then it shows you a burn rate chart. Pretty cool. They actually updated this from the 10th edition. We'll probably take a look at that in a later video and see some of the powders they dropped and added, because it's pretty interesting to me why they would take out powders that are still popular. And we can talk about bullets. Then they introduced their new A-tip here. Y'all heard about them A-tips, right? You know what the A means? That's expensive. Really though, they probably shoot great, but so do the ELDs. The ELDX, that's their expanding match bullet. The ELD match. The GMX is a solid copper bullet. They're going to show you all their fun things. La 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 la. Ooh, look, the case trimming center. Moving right along. We're going to lube up our pads. We're going to prime our brass. We're going to put in some powder. We're going to seat that bullet. Now we'll talk about dies. Oh, that's a very short discussion on dies. There you go. That's all you need to know about dies. And here's some tips and techniques. Yeah, cool beans, yo. Trajectory. That's a good read right there. Tell you what, it learns you how to shoot it good. Ooh, here's a ballistic coefficient guide. What that stuff means, how to calculate it. Here's some energy stuff. Get the 4DOF app. Okay. The Hornady Bullet Guide. Here's all of our bullets. Yes, so many bullets, so many uses. Shabba-da-da-da. Wow, this is a lot of pages to go through one at a time. Rifle data. Okay, so this is why you guys actually buy the book, right? You need the data, which is that much of it, right? There's a big section on rifles and then a somewhat smaller section on handguns somewhere. Oh, I see the page. Handgun data. And when you buy a new manual, there better be some new data. So for that, they have new cartridges, including the 6mm ARC, the 6mm Creedmoor, the 6.5mm PRC, the 300 PRC, as well as 224 Valkyrie, 350 Legend, 28 Nosler, 545x39, 300 Norma Magnum, and the 450 Rigby. Funny thing is, they've already released all of these informations out on their website in PDF form, so you could have already gotten those. And if you have the app, which is a yearly subscription apparently, you can also already have all of this data. You're just not going to get your hardback copy with that. So let's see what they've got for a new caliber. Where's the 224 Valky? Up in here somewhere. So here's our section on 224 Valkyrie, based on the 6.8 SPC, neck down to 22 caliber. Wow, that's neat. And yeah, you got 60 grains up to 90 grains. They can shoot really fast, and they eat up your brass, apparently, is what I've heard. But yeah, we've got 55 grains, 60 grain data, up to 88, 90 grains. And here's a nice little humble brag on their 6mm Creedmoor. With its parent cartridge, the 6.5 Creedmoor, arguably becoming the most successful cartridge introduction in the past half-decade. Really? Why couldn't they just call it 5 years? I mean, really, I guess there's several things introduced every single year, so if it can stick around for that long and continue to gain popularity, then good for it, right? And this basically says, as soon as the 6.5 Creedmoor was introduced, some guy from some magazine was like, screw this, I'm going to wildcat it down to 243 or 6mm. And they were talking about that back in 2010. Okay, cool. We can shoot a 58 grain bullet all the way up to 100. We got, what's on the next page? 110 A-tips. Ooh, that's cool. That's cool. Some 110 grain A-tips going 30-50. That's smoking hot. Ballistic coefficient of 604. Wow. And here's some 300 PRC, just moving right along. And the one I actually bought this for, the manual that is, you're going to laugh when you see how extensive the data is. There it is. We have one section here on the 350 Legend. So if you're expecting more for the 350 Legend, don't be expecting any more, because these are the only 2 bullets that they actually offer for rifles in 355 diameter. But what I actually wanted was to see the powders they were using, because right now the only data you can really find is from Hodgdon, and they only list Hodgdon powders. Because I have a lot of Shooter's World Heavy Pistol, and that is their clone of Accurate Number 9, I needed data for Alliant 2400 because I have some of that, and it's a great powder. And also they have Power Pro 300 MP, they have Enforcer, and some Vitivori as well. And the reason I really wanted the powder selection data here is because I want to see what crosses over between 300 Blackout, so I can try and stock up on those things that have more crossover, so I don't have one powder for one bullet. I can have one powder cover 2 different guns and several different bullets. But let's take a look at some handgun data real quick and see. Oh, that's went past her there. Okay, we found it. Here's some handgun data. And real quick, I haven't even looked at any of this yet, but I remember comparing the burn rate charts I showed you earlier on, just barely, and I noticed that they'd redacted 700X from their burn rate chart, so I'm curious to see if they also removed it from their 38 special and 9mm loads. Or really anything for that matter, but it affects me in the way of 38 special and 9mm. I mean, I already have the data I need for it, but I want to see if they removed that for whatever reason. Okay, so I cheated. I already looked at the 10th edition. They have 700X on every single bullet they list. And then I looked at this, and I'm sort of disappointed because they took out some powders that are still widely used and really available. And by really available, I mean like, you know, they're more available than like Varget or, Rotumbo or something. Anyways, I digress. Here you see 700X, the very second from the top right under Tight Group and then Clean Shot. And then here we have the 11th edition with Tight Group and then Clean Shot immediately after. And that's literally the only change, is they took out 700X. Do I sound salty? I apologize. But it's still a fairly available and popular powder, and I might have a few pounds on hand, and I've already worked up loads with it, but when I recommend it to people, they're like, oh, I've never really heard of 700X for pistols. That's because it is a shotgun powder, but if you look at Hodgdon's site, they have 700X for all kinds of pistol loads. Pretty sure Hodgdon even lists like the XTP with 700X. They're even showing a completely discontinued bullet with all of the same powders, but they're not showing a current available powder. Whatever. Maybe they got like angry in a corporate meeting and some guy was like, I'm never gonna put 700X on there again. Okay, anyways, moving right along. All kinds of pistol data. And then they're just gonna show you the 6 arc again. Or sorry, the 300 PRC. Look at those groups with their 225 grain ELD. Look at that. Would you look at that? Those are some good groups. The bullets didn't even come out of the casings. Oh, I was also curious about the 190 grain sub X for the 300 blackout as well. I don't even shoot subs because I don't have a can, but I was interested to see some data on a bullet in that weight range because the 10th edition is actually much thinner than the 11th for 300 blackout, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, sorry, I'm just rambling now, but there's so much 300 blackout data. I love it. Starts at 110 grains, and it hits pretty much every single weight class and group in between there. Come on now. There we go. 190, 195, 208, 225. There's pretty much data for everything in 300 blackout that you could imagine, and I love it. So anyways, there you go, folks. That was a quick look at the Hornady Handbook of Cartridge Reloading 11th edition. If you're like me and you like having a physical copy of your data, feel free to pick one up. You know, the price isn't horrible, but it's not great. 30-ish bucks is probably average for most of your manuals. Overall, I think it's a great tool to have in your toolbox next to your bench, especially if you shoot a lot of Hornady bullets or if you need something to compare another source to. It's always great to have more manuals than less. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy this kind of content and other reloading topics, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Comment below what else you saw when you got the 11th edition. Did you like the changes? Did you like the additions? Do you like this really cool printed, textured ink stuff they put on there? How do you feel about that? So anyways, guys, thanks for hanging out. Stay tuned for more, and we will see you in the next video. Have a good one.